time. In the early 1940s, a Teen Timers Club was formed. The Teen Timers Club was housed in the Army Barracks at the corner of Charlotte and DuPont Street here in Punta Gorda. In the early 1960s, Hurricane Donna destroyed the barracks, and there began our community center's history. April 11, 1962, a special City of Punta Gorda Council meeting was held, approving the drawings of what was now called then was called the Colored Community Center. October 16, 1962. Our proper dedication to use the city-owned and maintained facilities without delay was granted. The center was officially named Cooper Street Community Center. November 6, 1962, the city of Punta Gorda named 3 individuals from the neighborhood to serve as a citizen community. These individuals were Mr. Booker T. Haynes, Mr. Vernon Bailey, and Mr. Graham. To this day, that practice of having these individuals from the neighborhood and its community serve on the board of directors continues to be a part of the center's culture. The center was operated by volunteers who wanted a safe and fun place for us young people to go. Rumor has it some of these grown folks used to come in as well. In 1966, Charlotte County government hired 2 staff to run the center's programs. 1986 was the year of many beginnings. The center enhanced its programs and added educational and club activities. During this year, the county agreed to administer community center operations through a community-based board of direction. Also, the Women's Coalition of Southwest Florida began the study partners program. In April 1992, a new board was formed. Nonprofit status gained and Charlotte's name was changed to New Operations Cooper Street. The first chairman of the board lived in the neighborhood, Ms. Bernice Russell. Ms. Russell, like Mr. Haynes and so many others who have gone on, had a vision for the community that we must uphold in their honor, for their struggles and for the best interest of the city and county's investments in this our community. We must stand for it. This community center has had great directors over the years, and each has taken the community center to its greater level. Here, 51 years of excellence. New Operation Cooper Street. Our history continues. There is no stopping us now. Starting all over again is going to be rough. So rough, but we're going to make it. Lyrics by Falling Oaks.
No, I know he don't even know who that is. It's a Sean. Thank you, Sean. Sean is a product of New Operation Cooper Street. He used to attend the center at one point. Yes, starting all over again, it's going to be rough. But we can make it if together, every one of us that's here today, play a role in the future of this center. The Boys and Girls Club, Glenn, look good to see him. It's been a while since we've communicated. We both worked out of Lee County in after-school programs there. But our desire, the community's desire, is to keep it as a community center. It's not a come down or anything. They just want to. It's 51 years of having their center. So I don't want you to take it personal. We appreciate what you're doing. It's just that it's more than the after school, and it's more. We'll go over that in a few minutes. What I'm going to share with you is, as a community, we held a couple meetings, and you know you could never get everyone in the same place at the same time, but we attempted to do that. And what we did is we couldn't come up with numbers because we don't have an accurate understanding of the center as to where it stands. So I need to emphasize that this is our first verbal from the board. We heard rumors as to what was happening, but we were never formally informed. So today we appreciate you all, board members, bringing us in as the community, as the constituents that you represent, to let us know that our center is in trouble. We appreciate this. We wish it was done a little earlier, but we can't fix it. So we move forward together, okay? A synopsis of the community-centered strategy. We're going to share that with you now. As you see here, the public interest constituents back in 1962, the city of Punta Gorda decided, as Mr. Sean told us, to entrust 3 individuals in this community. Back then it was not called the Tribune Woods. Tribune Woods is a name that was given to it within the past 10 years. But back then, the city gave the building, it was approximately 16,000 square feet to accommodate a little over 160 something people. They entrusted that building to the community, the neighborhood. In the interim, it went from this space that you see here to all the other expansions that have been made over the years. So as you see, it goes from the city to the public interest constituents who are represented by our board of directors, who instruct or govern the operation, overseeing the staff, the volunteers, and the staff and volunteers are responsible for our students. Now, as far as our strategy, again, it's not a, what we did is analyze based on assumptions. Everything that we did was based on assumption, but we believe that we can rebuild the center's grassroots culture, relationships, and programs, and take it back to being a more community center, changing the focus back. It has become a known learning center that has done awesome job with the help of the 21st century. And with the loss of that fund, it presented a challenge for us. Now, the operations, this is the community's grassroots strategy as to how we believe it can be done. And this concept is going back to the concept that we had in the when we operated the center back in the 1990s and the early 2000s, up to 2004. We're also basing our presentation here based on the center's cash flow. We realized that the initial opening may require flexible late and weekend hours, which was something we did back in the past. And it's also going to require a strong volunteer base. So before you leave, if you're interested in volunteering, you can feel free to see the staff, and I'm sure they'll welcome you. Part of our strategy includes us going and reviewing the marketing and fundraising / sustainability plan of the center. It means following up with those individuals and businesses who have contacted us to let us know that they're concerned about what they're hearing about the center, and they've asked what can they do to sustain the center. So it means following up with those individuals and asking them to commit to what they said they would. It also means creating a new program and facility rental fee schedule. And the community, we decided to come up with a resident, which means a resident rate, which means you live within the city limits of Punta Gorda, and a non-resident model rate, which means that you live outside of the city limits of Punta Gorda. To validate your residency, you will have to show a driver's license and utility. So we've started research and got a little into how can we validate whether they're a resident or a non-resident of the city of Punta Gorda. We also will need to perform a staff analysis using a revenue-based concept, and what that means to those of us in leadership in the nonprofit world is that sometimes when we get a grant in, we're able to increase our staff salary, we're able to bring staff in to help us with the cause. And so when that grant fund leaves us, those funds, those increases, etc., we have to adjust them. So we usually do a staff analysis before so that we can write the grant effectively, and after we've exhausted the grant funds, if it shouldn't be one that's, only for a certain period. The other grassroots rebuilding we felt we needed to do is to recultivate the key to great success. We need to do a lot of collaboration. When you have no money, it means collaborating to make sure that the service that you've committed to provide, you make sure it happens effectively. So one of the things we said that we need to recultivate is a collaboration between the program providers, between suppliers, between past and present funders, in-kind and monetary, program participants, staff and volunteers, and of course, the neighborhood and the community. Upon completing the community analysis, the Tribune's neighborhood and its supportive community believe that with the support of all stakeholders, Cooper Street Community Center can return to financial stability within 1 year, and we are asking the board to work with us, your constituents, to see that that happens, to give us a chance to prove that the center can be operated successfully, just like it did way back when. We always started with volunteers, and then we built up until the funds started rolling in, and we're asking you to believe in us that we can make that happen again in this present time. We know grant funds, it's hard to get funds. There's so many nonprofits pursuing the same funding, but it can be done using creative resources. Now I'm going to take some of you way back, because I know some of the people that are my age were telling me of their experience going to Cooper Street. And this is Cooper Street as a community center. It addressed the youth, family, and seniors. Our programs included arts and culture. We took the kids all over the state of Florida. We took them to Disney, etc. Through collaboration, because we had a budget back then. The highest budget we had, which I believe was in 2003, 2004, was $197,000. With that money, you would think we were rich, because our kids traveled all over the state of Florida, whether it was the choir that we were blessed to have, whether it was the Better You Girls Club, going to meet with other girls club. We had the bingo for the seniors. We had the boys club. We had computer lab. We had health lectures, and something new that because of our environmental concerns, we felt that we can bring in the green technology and the lectures on that. We had the Kids Cafe that they still have going to this day successfully. We had life skills. We had Mr. and Miss Cooper Street pageant, where the individuals were taught speech, poise, etc. We had music. We had organized fitness and recreation activities, because all of our programs were supervised. We had study partners. We have the opportunity to collaborate with a major corporation to bring in technology. We have Teens in Action, which is an awesome group for teens, and they also did a lot of traveling. Tennis, they also did through the U.S. Tennis Association. I believe they're still doing that for the center. And of course, those trips and tours and bringing national and entertainment to the community. And there were other collaborative programs I know that the center still does under Ms. Nuss' program. She brought in the senior friendship center and et cetera. So they also brought in as part of their community center component, the access partner, which is a service for individuals that want to apply for food stamp, et cetera. The center, as a community center, is a community advocate. The leaders are. The community, churches, and government look to the center as a liaison. The human service referral resource, and of course, the parent-school liaison for the community. So what we as a community is asking is that we don't change the focus. We do understand and haven't had a chance to fully analyze the financial component to see how we can best help to that end. But just looking at what we were able to find in our research, Cooper Street can be saved. And I know sometimes we panic when we hear we have no money. We do that in our personal life, and so it's rightfully so that we do it in our business life as well. And what we're asking you to do is to give the community a chance to save its center. Give the community, which means every stakeholder that's involved. The city and the county have invested a tremendous amount of money in this. To this day, the city, in 51 years, still pays not only for use of this building, but they have blessed this community center with the water bill being paid and the light bill being paid. Those are expenses that have been saved. The center does not have to pay those. So the center is truly blessed with the government collaboration that it has. And there's other collaborative efforts that we can rebuild, and so we're asking you to just give us a year to prove that we can save the center, and should the community not be able to, for whatever reason, that then you consider bringing in outside resources to help. And at that point, when that point comes up, it becomes the community center leasing the space to that any particular agency to provide a particular service that the community determines the center can provide. I thank you. I think looking at, Mr. President, looking at your agenda, it says Q&A. Do you want that done now in reference to feedback? At this time, we're going to ask Mr. Roy Wiley. He has been selected as the spokesman for the community. We're going to ask him to come forward at this time. And I am just going to leave us with a quote. It states, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. New Operation Cooper Street Inc. Board, we're asking you to work with us to save and retain the community center. It can be done. We have the support of so many people, so many of them who are my age, which is the 51 years. So the center is old, y'all. It's old but young, you know. So, but we have a lot of people that have pledged. We have collected over 200 petitions. We have a Facebook page that was started by our crew.